Hey everybody, it's Christine, and today I am up with the Just Cards video crew, and we are showcasing cards that have rainbows in some sort or fashion. So you're going to get a lot of good technique ideas, as well as just some ideas of how to use what you've got on hand. So be sure to check out each video in the hop. I'll have you linked up to all of them down below. Now, I had like a million different ideas for this hop, because I love doing rainbow stuff. Unfortunately, like none of them were coming together. I can't even tell you how many different things I tried, and I was like, no, that did not work how it was supposed to. So in the end, I got out my electronic cutting system and I cut out this base, and it's meant to look like clematis flowers. And I am going to add my color using cardstock pieces. Now, I just went into my scrap pile. I did not cut new paper. I didn't do anything. Like, this whole card really comes from like very basic stuff that almost all of us have in our scraps and around our rooms. So I pulled out different pieces of the rainbow, made sure they coordinated. I didn't want the yellow to be too light or the purple to be too light or the red to be too brown or any of those things. Tried to make sure they were all kind of in the same tone and color family there. And then I just cut them out individually. So I separated all the pieces in my computer and cut out the red ones and then cut out the orange ones and yellow ones. And it was a little time consuming, but not terrible, especially for something that I was happy with the end result on. Now, I am adding each of the petals on using the glue pen from Home and Hobby, which is a part of Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. This is a dual tip pen, and it has a fatter side and it has a skinnier side that I am using right now. And the reason I'm going for liquid glue here is because I want to be able to move those petals. They are literally all a different size. And so if I accidentally got one in the wrong spot or whatever, I wanted to be able to move things around. And, you know, it didn't happen too much, but it was a little more a cautious approach versus using like mini glue dots or something like that, because I didn't want things to get out of, I didn't want them to get stuck on there and risk tearing these little petals. So that was what I opted for. Now, a little tip for you: when you're doing something like this and you're cutting all these pieces out, don't do it at a time when your kids could distract you, because then you might end up with all of your flower petals in a nice little pile and have to resort everything where it goes. I know this. This is something I've done before, but I got distracted with my kids and they all ended up in a pile, and I had to spend probably an extra 10 minutes on this card just sorting out where they actually belonged. So just a little reminder, this is a good one to do after bedtime. Nonetheless, it comes together and it looks nice. Now, if you're seeing right there what I'm doing, I'm just using my paper piercer to kind of poke the pieces in, because I'm using both the positive and negative space. So I've got that white that's the positive space, and then the color is actually the negative space. Now, if you're looking at it and saying, okay, where is the sentiment going to go? That is a great question, because I always wonder that on cards like this. I'm like, where do they think the sentiment is supposed to go on this? Now, what I decided to do was to go ahead and cut out one of the flowers and make a little area for me to stamp a sentiment. So I am using just a fine tip scissors right here, and I am cutting out that flower and just curving around the petals so that I make sure it all fits. And then I'm going to use a stamping platform and stamp a sentiment on there that comes from a really pretty Hampton art set. I just got this set last week, and it has layered flowers, and it also has sentiments on it. So I'm using the sentiment that says, wishing you a day filled with happiness. And then I'm also going to use this little shape that kind of looks like a star, and I think it's meant to be like the center of flowers. And so I am going to use that throughout. Now, you can see right now, everything's kind of not popping, not blending together quite like it should be. Look what a difference right there from that moment ago to now when I add in the black, how everything is, it was blending together before, but it wasn't. Does that make sense? Like it wasn't coming together quite how I wanted it to. Now I've got this black in there, so everything is popping on its own, but also pulling the whole thing together to make sense. And then my final step is going to be just to add a black base. I'm going to use just some Swiss dot black paper from Doodlebug Design. And you can see I also pulled up the center of all those flowers. And there you have it. So no real crazy techniques in this one, but a great way to use up what I have in my stash already. And it turned out to be a really pretty, nice card with beautiful colors in it. So thanks so much for joining me today. Be sure to hop over to the other videos in the Hop, and we'll see you again soon.